Okay, right, so apparently Donald Trump has refused to resettle people in Nauru, and Nauru's been a bone of contention for ages and ages and ages, and I'm not exactly sure why. Let's get rid of roads here, just to make the frame rate go a little bit further. Where in the bloody hell is it? There it is, it's up here. Nauru. Okay, right, so where is it in the scheme of things? On the equator almost. Yep. Bloody hot. Right, so it's obviously an old volcanic island. Now I'm talking here without doing any research whatsoever. It's an old volcanic island, whereas places like Hawaii are new volcanic islands because they're on the what's known as the Ring of Fire, which is the convergence of tectonic plates, etc. So Hawaii's got lots of fresh grass and everything because it's new and it's young. But poor old Nauru, where are we here? Let's get down. Here we go, Nauru. Let's go down and actually have a look at the place. There we go. This borders thing, borders and labels. I'll just get rid of these white lines. Why would they have borders on a place that size? Anyway, how big is Nauru? Okay, let's get out the ruler. Where is it? There we go. It's in kilometres, that'll do me. Probably won't do people from the United States. It's 6 kilometres. That's reasonable size. And from north to south, oh well, I guess we'll put it there, 4.5 kilometres. Okay, and it's got an airport, which is interesting. Got to get rid of that so as I can get the hand back. And the airport is only 2,000 metres, which is not big enough to accommodate jets. So now, why do they need to resettle the people on Nauru? Is it a hellhole? It looks like the settlement is based around the coast. What sort of beaches does it have? It's unfortunate that we've got no 3D view here. We can't really see, and it's not very well resolved, especially when you dig right down. Okay, so Arenebek is built around some sort of obviously natural reservoir which provides water, which would be caught simply by rainfall because there would be no what's the word, what are they, Cartesian sort of wells or anything like that coming up. So anyway, that's probably the richest part of Nauru. Nauru obviously contains buildings and industry, houses. None of the houses have any swimming pools, so it does look like they're not that rich, but they're free and they are the residents, the normal residents of the island. Okay, now got some scrappy sort of land here. I haven't looked up to see what the natural resources of Nauru are because it's just going to take ages and I'll never find anything. So let's find the camp. That wouldn't be it. It is doing something though, but I can't see what because there's no 3D. It's got Are they vehicles or tanks? I don't know. 2 trucks mining something or another. Oh yeah, okay, they're mining sand by the look of it. So that's the prosperity that is in the island, that brings in the income for the island, and whatever the hell that is. That could be it. It's got a wall around it, but that's just a wall around a series of tanks, so I don't know. Let's pull back a bit. Yeah, this looks like it. Okay, that'd be the place where all these people are housed, simply because there's a basketball or some sort of a court in the middle of it. And they'd be there, yeah, okay, and that's got a wall around it. Okay. Right, so that would be a hellish existence for them, because it's all paved, no trees inside, the most modest of luxuries, which is that court, and whatever. So that's where they'd all be housed. Now, why aren't they let free on the island? Is it because the people in the island don't want them mixing with their own society? Or is it because of the danger of boats coming to pick them up and take them away from there and take them somewhere else? Well, I guess if you install some sort of radar, but radar generally spans upwards, so you probably wouldn't be able to see boats incoming or outgoing via radar, although you could if you had directional radar. So if they put directional radar, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, all the way around, then they'd be able to see incoming and outgoing vessels, and therefore that would probably ensure that these blokes that operate the boats from Indonesia would not be able to get to the island, because, you know, the Australian Navy could provide, you know, just some sort of little boat that can catch up with them, because it's not a very big island, circumference of about 6 by 5, 6, I don't know, 25 kilometres, 30 kilometres, something like that. Alright, so now if they're let loose, then can anything become of this island? Can it be populated? Can it become its own little paradise? That looks like there's a boat there. It's leaving with something that's being towed out by a tug. Don't know why that is, obviously because there's some sort of have I got ocean, anyway, whatever, get rid of the ocean sort of thing so as I can see why it's being towed out by a tug, because you'd think that would be able to just power itself away with no problems whatsoever. Okay, so it's been filled with something. It's obviously not a cargo, although it's got a few cargo containers on it, but it's probably more of a tanker, which is either a raw materials tanker, but I don't think they'd be getting oil from here. Because the reason I don't think that they'd be getting oil from here is because the surrounding depth of the ocean, and if you look at it down there, minus 3,601 metres, so all the way around it's 4 or 5 kilometres, which is about 5,000 metres, which is about 16,000 feet deep, and that suggests that in the history of life on Earth, none of this area has ever been above sea level, except for when that volcano happened that must have brought that above sea level. But none of all this area would have been above sea level that would have promoted the ability to grow vegetation or fauna, so you wouldn't get oil or coal out of the place. It also looks reasonably barren, like scrappy and dry. I don't know what the rainfall is, but I doubt that they'd be able to make much out of that land in as far as agriculture, unless they harness the rain somehow, like they've done there, like build some sort of a dam. But I don't know what the rainfall is. I don't know what the natural resources is, etc. But anyway, they do have an airport. They've got to get out. So, if they could somehow make this a self-contained and self-fulfilling metropolis of its own, then everybody could have a job. You know, maybe you could have banana plantations and mango plantations and this and that and everything else. But why do they have to have an export industry in order to survive? Why can they not just live with the fact that the amount of people that live on this island are their only customers and provide for that? And then they'd be, you know, in some sort of paradise. Well, maybe not a paradise, but it's tropical. Now, it must also, if it's the case that any of these buildings do not have air conditioning, then that's inhumane to the max. And there are some large, they're either containers or vehicles. They wouldn't be vehicles or buses or anything. Oh, I don't know what it all is. It's not resolved well enough. But there we go. There's a hell of a lot of area for people that are contained within there. And I'm satisfied that that is the camp that they use. What's this over here? They wouldn't have two of them, surely. And no, that's not one. That's some other goodness knows what. Anyway, so there we go. My solution to the Nauru thing is to let them all loose, have Australian and other international policing on the island to look out for law and order, because, you know, up to half of these people could be just absolute psychopathic thugs and wreak havoc. Oh, pardon me, here we go. I'm going to go into a bloody coughing fit. Yep. Well, everybody knows I've got COPD. Oh, good grief. Anyway, so to be able to round them up and all that sort of stuff, but they'd all be able to get jobs if only they could develop something from here. And I don't know where they'd be. It looks like a sand mine. Who'd want sand? And for what reason from that little place? I mean, you know, it's out in the middle of buggery. So is there a bigger island somewhere? What's this one over here? This looks bigger because you can see it from up here. What's this? Nah, it's not even an island. It's just it's an atoll, which means it used to be an island, but the middle of it sinks down, as it generally will. The whole of Hawaii will be an atoll at some point, but that just ain't suitable. But if there are any other larger areas, but yeah, the vetting situation has to be a big thing. Now, I also think that at the point that they can come up with some sort of brain scanning thing which shows A, how susceptible people are to suggestion, and B, their impulse control, then that might be a very good series of criteria to So what's happening down here to use as a vetting process? Now, Noumea. Yeah, tourism. So what sort of tourism could they get over here in Nauru? Where the bloody hell is it again? God, you can't even see it from up here. Yeah, here we go. I think. Yeah, right. Nah. The colour of the sand on the beaches is brown. Whoops. What's this? Some sort of water intake. It's clear in there. Don't know, desalination plant. Looks like there's been chlorine added. Well, I don't know. Anyway, that's that.